And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Let's hope the thumbnail is working. And it is what it is. Today, we are going to talk about the attainment of power and a masculine approach of that. I'm excited. I'm so excited because the aspect of power is so misunderstood in the world today. It's almost as if it's a bad word. It's ridiculous. Power is awesome. It's like it's one of the many definitions that we've got on our channels for masculinity. And masculinity is awesome. If you want to become masculine, then you need to have a drive towards desiring power, okay? Because power gives you everything in life that you desire without treading on other people, okay? Without, causing suffering, all right? Power is what creates the ability to lift other people up so that you can be lifted up as well in return. Let's look at the definition of power. I love this aspect. Power defined, okay? Let me show you guys what I'm looking at. Here you go. Power defined. Oh man, you guys don't see anything here. There you go. Look it up. Google it. Power. The ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way. The capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. Okay? Oh my gosh. You can look at the verbs. Supply with mechanical or electrical energy. I like that. And the last one is move or travel with great speed or force. I like all of those definitions. Give me power, okay? You should be desiring power in many ways more than most things, okay? If you understand the proper definition of power, it's the ability to do. The ability to do something. What is it that you want the ability to do? That's a good question to ask. Why do you want power? Why do you want the ability to do? It gives you everything in life that you desire. Okay, but what are those things? You want abundance. Abundance, enjoy, health. And okay, I use the three categories of life. Joy, health, and happiness. But it's not the three categories. The three categories are relationships, health, and finance. That's what you want abundance in. So if you want to develop power, you got to develop the power in each of those categories. That's it. Okay? The most important one, in my opinion, is relationships, because you're going to have a blast for the rest of your life if you get really, really, really powerful in the relationship space. Relationships, man, it's all about relationships. If you got power there, you can get anything done that you desire. Anything. It's just a matter of time if you haven't gotten there yet. But if you've got amazing people skills and you've got amazing relationships around you and you've got an amazing network, it's just a matter of time before you're a multi-millionaire or a billionaire or the above. Okay? And then power in terms of health. Health is what? Energy. Okay? We said it there. Electrical energy. You want that from within. And in order for you to have energy, you need the one thing, and that is motivation. Motivation. Inner drive. Inner motivation. Well, Joseph, where do I get this motivation? You need to have a clear picture of your vision. Okay, I'm not talking about a vision board, although those are helpful. I'm talking about a clear picture of what you want in your head. Also on paper, written down every single day. That helps too. Okay, do the affirmations, do all that crap. But the most important thing is that you've got it up here and that you remember it on a daily basis and you have a clear vision. And if you're fired up about the things that you have a vision for, there will be an inner drive. The problem with most people these days is that they have a lack of self-esteem, lack of their self-picture is low. They're like, they look at themselves and I'm like, oh, I can't achieve anything, or I can't do that and I can't do that. Bro, you're making a mock of the universe who created you. You kidding me? You are a force, okay? You're a force for good. You're a ballistic missile, man. You really want to mock your maker and the universe by basically saying, I'm a nobody. I can't do anything. I failed all the time in all my life, and because I'm a failure, well, I can't achieve nothing. Look at all these people. They're so much better than me. You know that they sucked before they became amazing, right? Everyone does. Everyone has sucked. Einstein sucked at science when he started it out, right? You know, Stephen Hawking sucked. Michael Jordan sucked. He was even cut from the junior basketball team, wasn't it? A sophomore team? Whatever it was. Like, every single person has sucked, okay? Including you. And that's okay. Because you will achieve your goals. Your past is not your future. Which means that your future is flippin' amazing because your past sucks, okay? You need to have that picture. If you have that, you're gonna get the energy. And if you don't have the energy, you're gonna get it. Because that goal is so important for you that you're gonna get the health, perspectives necessary in order for you to get that goal. If you're struggling with diet or nutrition or lack of energy or just you just can't get yourself out of bed in the morning, it's only because you don't have a clear picture of where you're going. That's it. And if you have a clear picture of where you're going, at least you have that motivation, but maybe you don't have food on the table. I highly doubt that. Okay? 90% of the world global population, especially those who watch YouTube, you have the nutrition that you need. Okay? You have sufficient for your needs in order for you to move massively towards your goals. And the last one is financials. I'll tell you what, that's your biggest problem right now. You don't have money, right? And because you don't have money, you can't hire a coach. And because you can't hire a coach, it's going to go a lot slower than you want it to take. Okay? If you do have the money, oh my gosh, how come you haven't hired a coach yet? Hire a coach, man, so that we can take you to 10x faster towards your dreams and goals. And dreams and goals in every category of life, not just money. I want to take you to amazing joy, bliss, and happiness on the relationship side. Man, that's what my expertise is, okay? And you can ask my clients that. That's the expertise and also the attitude and moving towards, with fire and well, what do we call it? Fire and excitement, okay, towards your dreams and goals. Anyway, how do you get power? Do you understand now why we need power? We need power in order to protect and provide for our families, right? Massively. We need power in order for us to feel fantastic about ourselves. We need power for us to feel great with relationships with other people, because if we're important, then they'll look at us as important. Like if I feel that I'm important, then other people will think that I'm important. The cool part is, if I make other people feel important, that's when they especially make me feel important, okay? And suddenly you have two people making each other important, and that's when you enjoy happiness. Isn't that amazing? Everyone treats everyone as shit, as having low value. That's ridiculous. If you treat other people as if they're massively high value, we're on to something. Right? What's important to you is important to me. And guess what? I know that you're important to you, which means that you are important to me. See that? And if you keep thinking that philosophy in every single relationship that you have, even to the random rude woman that passed you, at the cashier or whatever, okay? She's important to you. If you actually have that mindset, maybe she doesn't feel that you're important, don't matter. It starts with you, man. The more you begin to practice this aspect of making sure that people are important. Now, obviously, you don't allow them to run over you, right? That's a completely different story. But you understand that if they do run over you, it's out of ignorance. It's not because they're horrible people. You know that they have potential. They are important to you. And in many ways, you want to elevate them in the future. But you got to prioritize, so you can't help that person immediately. But you get what I'm saying? Every single person on planet Earth is a good person. Every single person wants to help you out. Even those people who want to drag you down. Okay? Why? Because the people that are dragging you down are creating a desire in you to either run away from their environment, okay, which is great, or whatever else. Look at the silver lining, man. This is how you begin to develop power. You look at every single thing in your life as a positive thing. It empowers you, okay? Whatever empowers you is good. As long as it empowers you for the long term. It's not just a quick fix, a short-term gimmick, and then you massively collapse because it's not sustainable, okay? You get what I'm saying here? Okay, so power. The ability to do. How do you get it? There's a quote by Anthony Robbins. He says, success comes from good judgment. You agree? Good judgment. We all desire it. What does good judgment mean? Okay, like for example, if you're trading, okay, I've been learning about trading lately and it's awesome, okay? But be careful because you can lose a lot of money. You get wrecked if you start trading, have no idea what you're doing. You know, there's a link down below for an amazing trading course, okay? Absolutely amazing. And if you want to learn how to trade, then you don't trade before you've gone through that course 3 times, okay? But what I'm saying is, for example, trading. If you have bad judgment when you're trading, you're going to lose money. If you have good judgment when you're doing that, you're going to make money. If you're playing basketball and you have good judgment, you're going to win games, right? And you're going to, enjoy yourself playing basketball, right? If you have good judgment, bowling alley or at the office or whatever it is that you have power in, the ability to do, it came from good judgment. Okay, so success comes from good judgment. Good judgment comes from experience. It actually comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment, okay? So every single time that you're trying to develop power or skill in something, you start out sucking. It means that you had bad judgment in the beginning, which means that you lost money. You lost that basketball game. You whatever it is that you want to use as an example, right? We're still looking at power, but that's okay. We'll just keep it up. You want to get to the point where you gain experience. So it's bad judgment, but once you've gone through the bad judgment, you're learning now because you don't want to keep doing the bad judgment stuff. You're just like, no, I'm improving. And we're all evolving over time because we want to avoid pain, right? So you got 2 directions if you want to avoid pain. One, you go through the pain, right? So you've had bad judgment. Obviously, you're going to feel the pain. So then you have 2 choices. Either you can give up, which means that the pain was for naught, meaning that you didn't get anything from the endeavor that you tried. You failed, it was painful, and then you give up? Like, what the hell is that? Why do you give up? If you give up, then what was the pain for? Just for the pain itself? What benefit was that? You're wasting the pain that you felt. You never, ever, ever give up. Winners never give up. Okay? What is it? Winners never quit. Quitters never win. You never want to be a quitter. Which means that you have the second path when you hit pain. What's the second path? If you're not going to give up, that means you get back up and you've learned something from it and you bring that which you learned with you to the next time that you see the exact same circumstance. Then you remember, dang, last time I felt the pain. I felt this. I'm going to do this differently. It's like Groundhog Day, right? That movie, whatever. I don't know if you guys are old enough to have seen that movie, but with Bill Murray. But the whole point is you get better, you evolve, you gain experience. And experience will give you good judgment. Good judgment is going to give you success, which equals power, the ability to do. And now you're going to get all of the accolades, all of the awesome stuff that I mentioned in the beginning. Awesome. How long do you want experience to take? How long do you want to suck at life? You don't. So how do you develop experience? Have you heard about the people who there's this, oh man, there's an Instagram post that I have on the Men of High Value channel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me. My Instagram has doubled in like 2 weeks because of an awesome dude that's been sharing my content massively. He even made a Men of High Value fan page. If you haven't followed that one, go follow that one. Anyway, it's funny. But what I was going to say is that on that Instagram post that I have on the Men of High Value Instagram, it's a horse on chess, right? And then you have the squares around the horse, and obviously if you're a horse you got to jump 2 steps and then to the right or left, right? So but it doesn't cover that. It's only 1 square outside of the horse, which means that it can't move anywhere. And that was a meme, and the quote was, "This is how people feel when people tell them that you can't get a job." What is it? Oh, when you have a college degree and you go for an interview and they say that you can't get a job because you need experience. And then you don't have experience, but you got the college degree. So it's basically like you can't move. It's just like, anyway, go check out the post. I couldn't explain it properly. But the whole point, what I'm saying is you need experience. And the question is, how fast do you want it? Do you want it to be slow and painful, or do you want to be fast and fun? In many ways, the beginning stages of building up your power is not going to be fun because you are literally going against nature. You're going against the grain. You're going against everything that you believe to be true. When I start with explaining the process of what it takes to develop power. And I'm telling you, it's an amazing process, but you're going to go through hell. You got to go through hell to get to heaven. How fast do you want that experience? How fast do you want to go through that pain? If you go through it extremely fast, it'll be fun. It'll still be painful, but it's fun because you're developing momentum. You're beginning to see results. You see things happening in your life, and you're beginning to have a good attitude about things. That's what's cool. I'm going to tell you today in the video the same principle that I repeat continuously all the time on my Men of High Value channel. How do you get experience fast? Work. 80-hour work week. That's it. Okay? This is how you also overcome your semen retention and nofap issues. Oh, I can't manage SR. I can't manage, nofap. You're not working 80 hours a week, okay? You don't have enough accountability partners, okay, / bosses that take away your time. And they only need to do it for 90 days and suddenly you're free from SR issues, okay? But the focus is work. The focus is service. The focus is developing skill and gaining experience and becoming better at talking with people, developing relationships and retaining jobs and being held accountable, being responsible and doing the right thing and building up that cash flow cushion so that you can start a business eventually. You don't need money to start a business, but you need to have character and a massive work ethic to start a business. Okay? Some people say that you can do that, by starting a business today and develop that. Bull crap. Okay? How long do you want it to take to build a business? You want a successful business this year. And you can have that if you follow my procedure. This one. Okay? You listen to other people say, oh, work at your business. Stop working for other people, blah, blah, blah. No. Work for others. You need it so that you can develop that work ethic and go through hell with the fantastic attitude. That's what you need more than anything else. Even if it's just for a short period of time, just so that you know that I'm able to control myself. I can work 12 hours a day because this is who I am. I've done that for months now. I can do that in my own business. Do you get what I'm saying here? So that's how you gain experience and how you gain experience fast. I wanted to end this video with a reaction to my reaction to the Roommates podcast with Patrick Bet-David. All right. So there's a very interesting clip there. It's about 10-15 minutes. I'm not sure, but I want you guys to hear it. And I just want to mention some key few things there because it was so good. It was so amazing. Okay. So where is it? There you go. Yes.
For the rest of your life. And I'm not talking about freedom to not work, because you'll never, okay? If you follow the Menify Valley channel in the community, we never stop working because we love work, okay? I love 80-hour work week. That's one of the oh man, I love it. It's so sublime. It's like, okay? 80 hours. Love it. And if you don't, you're still in your femininity, okay? Feminine desires, feminine hormones cause feminine desires. You've got feminine desires if you don't want to do the 80-hour work week. Masculine, problems. I can solve problems. And if I solve problems, I get power. I love power because I'm masculine. Get it? And if you love power, you're going to get more power, and you use that power for good, obviously. Why do you use it for good? Because long term, that's the only thing that works. It's truth. You do good, and then you get it back. You invest, you get it back. Tenfold, hundredfold, thousandfold. This is how success works.
Okay, so 30.
Do you see that? I'm talking about this stuff on a continual, constant basis. If you listen to my channel and subscribe, you're going to hear this constantly. And guess what? It's the recipe for success, but not only success, but happiness, man, which is ultimate success. You want to be happy, man? Apply the philosophies that I teach. Trust me, you're going to be fired up outside your brain. And then I'm going to have expanded your brain. And guess what? Once a brain is expanded, okay, a mindset is expanded, it never goes back to its original size. I'm going to blow your mind with this channel. Subscribe and like this video, because you're never going to be the same if you listen to these again and again and again and again and allow me to brainwash you towards happiness and success. You're going to have it. And I'm going to be fired up for you. I'm excited. Okay, I hope you are.
I have a 20-20-20 rule that I follow. 4 20s. First 20, your first 20 years of growing up, don't make big mistakes. Don't make royally big mistakes. And you know which ones I'm talking about.
I know which ones
I'm not saying make the small ones. You're going to do them.
Yeah.
You don't walk on water. Just don't make them.
Yeah.
In the car with a guy that's selling a kilo of coke, and you're in there and he gets arrested, you get arrested. Distribution, you go get a felony. It's just like, dude.
There's no point. If you did the 80-hour work week, none of that would happen. I have another video that I watched the other day.
Did you hear that? If you didn't do any of that stuff, like if you worked the 80-hour work week, none of that crap in your teenage years would even come to your mind. You wouldn't even think about it.
Watched one of my own videos. I actually loved it. If you haven't watched it, go check it out again. It's called Get Rid of It, okay? Menify Valley channel, Get Rid of It, exclamation point. Okay, if you can't find it in the search thing. But just go through the list, you'll find it. I think it was September last year, 6 months ago. And in that video, I actually mentioned quit school. It's one of the biggest things that I say, get rid of it. Quit school. Don't study, okay? It's one of the worst things that you can do for your future. The only exception might be becoming a doctor, if that is your absolute intense purpose and you want to become a doctor. But then if you're going to become a doctor, then focus on prevention instead of symptom treating with medication from big pharma, okay? That's not what kind of doctor I want to ever use in the future. Okay, but if you're going to become a doctor that focuses on prevention, okay, schooling, okay? Watch that video again. What I was going to explain is that if you do the 80-hour work week, in that video I explained that 12-year-olds should quit school. And I say that you need to quit school wisely with the permission of your parents so that you are actually homeschooling yourself for 1 to 2 hours every single day so that you actually graduate at the top of your class without going to class. Why? So that you can work the 80-hour work week from 12 years old.
You hear that? That's how passionate I am about the 80-hour work week. 80 hours. Okay? Are you passionate about 80 hours? Let's make a decision to be fired up outside your brain about the 80 hours. That's what's going to give you success. That's what's going to give you power. It is the one thing that is more important than any other quality ever. Every single entrepreneur has this quality. They have a massive work ethic and they have a massive desire to learn, which means go through the pain, because they'll do whatever it takes in order for them to actually get their end goal. Do you have a massive work ethic? If not, that's the only thing you need to think about. Only thing.
That's when your testosterone starts blasting. That's when your sperm production begins working. This is the perfect time to start working the 80-hour work week. It's going to be a part of your life. You're going to be a millionaire before the age of 18. Okay? If you do that, you never have time to sleep around, to get a woman pregnant, to do drugs, to get drunk, okay? To practice anything, because you'll be involved, immersed into what you're doing. You'll be immersed in your business and in making money and developing your power. And everyone is going to try and get your attention, but they can't because you're so driven and focused. Where did you learn this? From your dad, okay? Right? Hopefully, if he didn't teach you, then you'll learn it from me, right? So in the same way, you guys, all of you guys are going to be fathers in the future if you do things right. And if you do things right, then you can teach your kids this way and you can homeschool them from the very get-go. At 12 years old, they start their discipline.
Isn't it cool to see me on both sides of the screen?
Not at 6, not at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, 12. 80-hour work week. At 11, maybe they can start a 40-hour work week. Does that make sense? At 10, maybe if they want to focus on something you can help. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Let's go. Keep going.
Dude, if you can prevent those big ones, good for you, right? Happen, try to clean it up. But hopefully first 20 years, you don't make the big mistakes. Next 20 years, find one industry, lock in, become the best, make a lot of money. Minimum 10 million, upwards of $100 million if you can make it.
Net worth or in regards to, what do you mean by 10 million?
By 40, have a net worth of 100 million.
Okay, by 40.
By 40.
100 million by 40.
And I completely agree. Absolutely 100% agree. This guy's laughing. He's not thinking big enough. $100 million by 40. If you actually apply the things that I'm teaching on this channel, you will get those results.
100 million in today's cash. Okay, not once the hyperinflation comes, because then everyone's gonna have $100 million. Like, oh, what's the big deal? I have $1 trillion. So I have this, like, like hyperinflation. What the flip? But do you get in today's dollars? Right?
It's actually physically impossible for you not to get those results if you follow the principles of this channel. Okay, including the Women of High Value channel, I might add.
You need the Women of High Value channel, because you need to understand femininity. Because if you understand femininity, then you can understand yourself. You understand the journey that you're going through is really just getting rid of the girl within. Okay? We all start out as feminine, but over time, as you understand femininity, you begin to chip away of those things that are holding you back from success, and that's your femininity. There's nothing else holding you back. Femininity. Femininity doesn't like to work. They like to have to play and have fun and do fun stuff and whatever. Okay? I'll need the charger eventually, but hey, get what I'm saying?
Why? Because they work, okay? Just like Napoleon Hill studied the lives of all of the richest people in the world. I've done that too, okay? And those principles are stripped and prioritized in such a way. And those people that have been around my channel for a while, they know that he talks about legit stuff, because I started applying the few things that he mentions in terms of priority, and I'm locked in. I'm more locked in than I'd ever been in my entire life. You're welcome, okay? SR, 80-hour work week, that's it. That's the way you start. You're gonna have $100 million in net worth, yours, after taxes, after paying off everything else, $100 million net worth at the age of 40. In my opinion, you can actually get...
Obviously, it depends when you start out, but he's saying basically, Patrick Bet David, if you're 20 years old and you lock into one industry, and you master it, you'll get to $100 million. It makes complete sense to me, okay? But you gotta lock in, and it's gotta be 20 years, right? You can't say, like, I'm 38 years old, I'm gonna get $100 million, within the next 2 years. Okay? That's femininity. You're overestimating the short-term results, but you're underestimating your long-term results and what you can get if you start early enough. Okay? For those of you guys who are plus 30, it doesn't matter. Just put 20 years ahead. Would you like $100 million by 50? You can do it easily. You got more experience than the kids that start out. Okay? So you actually have an advantage in many ways. So maybe it'll be 15 years for you or 10 years for you. You can do anything if you actually put your brain to it and apply the principles that are taught on these channels.
Get more. You can actually get a lot more. Why? Because if you start at the age of 12, you've got literally 28 years to the age of 40. 28 years. Years! Do you know how long it takes for you to master any skill? Master, meaning becoming a world-leading performer in that specific niche or skill. It takes 10,000 hours. If you've been around my channel, you've heard that a million times. How long does it take for you to get to 10,000 hours in any skill or endeavor if you focus on it? It takes exactly 2.5 years of 80-hour work week.
Damn. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. I love hearing this. I listened to this earlier and I was just like, oh my gosh. People need to hear this again. It is so powerful to do the math. This is what Grant Cardone says. Do the math, man. What's the math? Of figuring out how to get your first $1 million. Do the math, right? It's 5,000 customers that have paid you $2,000. You're at $1 million, okay? Just do the math of that, but then do the math of the hours as well. Money, time. Okay, you want to have time and money freedom? Guess what? You got to do the math. of what it takes for you to get the money that you want and then get the time freedom that you want. And guess what you have to invest? In order for you to get time, you got to invest lots of time. In order for you to get money, you got to invest money. Okay? But if you don't have money, then you just have to invest your time. You see? So it's those two aspects. If you understand this, you'll be a ballistic missile. Okay? But what I'm talking about now is starting at 12 years old. So those of you guys who are still in school, you're wasting flipping time. You're not developing any skill, you're not developing any experience, and you're not going through bad judgment. But if you are going through bad judgment, it's the bad judgment that he's talking about that you should avoid. Sleeping around with women, getting women pregnant, all that, doing drugs, smoking weed, all that crap that people do that will make them miserable over time. You want to be happy, man? Okay? Follow these principles, you'll be happy. You'll be happy. Can you believe 80 hours and be happy? How's that possible? Man, I love working. Why? Why don't you work? Why don't you love working? Okay? Maybe it's because it's not your own business. You'll get there. You just got to go through the hard stuff of what you don't like for a period of time until you like any aspect of your life, including the crap. That's a choice. It's an attitude. It's a decision to be fired up about everything that you do and do everything give everything you've got to everything you do. That's what we say.
Figure this out, guys, okay? You just apply it and you'll figure it out yourself. You'll see that it works. How many of those 2.5-year programs can you do in 28 flippin' years? Now, do the numbers, guys. It's very simple. Okay, by the time you're 15 and a half, you've done your first 10,000 hours.
And I calculated, it was actually 14 and a half. But let's say that, you're 12 and a half when you start the process, and then 2.5 years, so you're 15. Okay, you continue with that over time, 40 years old, you'll have gone through that process 11 times, which means that you'll be an elite performer, okay? In your craft, in your skill, in whatever it is that you've decided to do in your industry, 11 times over. Okay? So it's like do you understand? Compounded over time. Do you know how amazing you'll be at your craft? Oh my gosh. No one puts in that type of hours. No one puts in that type of effort. You can do that. It's all about effort. You can be the person that sucks the most. Okay? And now I'm not talking about sports, because sports, you got to be young in order to really succeed, unless it's a sport that, that you can be 80 years old and still win, right? But you get what I'm saying. Okay? You can do that. If you're 12 years old, though, if you're 12 and a half years old, you can become an NBA player by the time you're 19, if you put in the 80 hours. 80 hours. Okay?
Oh my gosh, you're a world elite performer in your niche if you focus. Not a lot of 12-year-olds are going to focus because they got the wrong parents. No offense. But that's basically, their parents don't know squat about success, okay? If you teach your kids the right way, they'll follow it because they'll know, wow, can I have that if I do that? Yes. Okay, let's go. Okay, 15 and a half. You're a world master in something. Amazing. What's next? 18 years old. 5 years, 13, 17? No,
Yeah.
Actually, you're 17, 14.
I have a problem with the math in the video. It's kind of funny, but anyway.
14 and the same thing that you focused on. So you've actually done 20,000 hours of that one skill. If you're wise, that's what you will have done.
So basically calculated 17 and a half. So 5 years from the time that you actually started this process, 12 and a half to 17 and a half, you've done 20,000 hours of something. You're an elite performer times 2. Times 2, man. You'd win the Olympics if you've chosen a specific sport and you've done 20,000 hours of it.
Okay? You get to have 10 of these. Actually, 11 of these by the time you're 40 years old. Do you think that you'll actually not get to $100 million? I think not, especially now with hyperinflation happening anytime soon. You get my drift? That's kind of how you need to think. So I'm not laughing like a feast. I know exactly what Patrick's talking about.
have a net worth of 100 million.
I love you, Patrick.
Yeah, by 40, have a net worth of 100 million minimum, because you're going to, listen, anything you give 15 to 20 years to as an industry, if you give it everything you got, you're going to make that kind of money. No question. No question about it. So you may say, I want to be a great podcaster. You take this thing to 10 million subs. You're killing it. All of a sudden, Spotify comes up to you, says $85 million contract we're giving you. You don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
There's a business model to the madness as well. Then from 40 to 60 is taking that money you made and using creative. You still can manage your businesses, but using creative on what you want to do next. You always wanted to do movies. Now you can't do it. You want to do music. Now you can't do it. You want to go buy art. Now you can't do it. You want to go out there and do real estate investments, maybe be a small owner of a sports team. Now you can't do it. And then 60 to 80, politics and giving back. Very simple. So for me, it's all about the plans. 2020.
Last thing, I thought this one was a bit interesting, so you guys will hear this. Comment down below if you have any questions. I'll answer them right now, and then we're done.
2020, and you know exactly what.
I think it's interesting how he mentions, okay, so the first 20 years, don't get into trouble. The next 20 years, to make $100 million. I like that. The next 20 years, I'm like, what? Creative? What like art? What are you talking about? You just add on to those 20 years. So you did 40 years. Does that make sense? Like
40 years. So you did 20 years of amazing work. You do another 20 years. Okay? So, it's like, I think that's the best way to go about it.
For me, that makes perfect sense. Okay?
So you'll have 15 of those or 16 of those where you've worked 10,000 hours. So it'll be 160,000 hours that you've mastered a craft. Oh my gosh. You understand how amazing you'll be?
You started not at 20, but you started at 12. And then you go to 60 years old, you've done what you're doing now for 48 years, and you love it. Now, could you change careers? Of course. That's the cool part about it. You can be world performer, elite performer in anything in life that you desire. You choose correctly. But I want to choose masculine things, in case I wouldn't go into arts. But, I mean, you can too. Will I go into arts? I really don't think so. But anyway, and then the last 20 years, politics and giving back. Becoming a capitalist, an entrepreneur, is giving back. You can start giving back from 12 years old. Why do you have to wait until you're 60 years old to give back? That doesn't make any sense to me, because business is giving back. You're literally giving back by investing in people, investing your time in something, investing in a skill that will serve other people. So you don't even need to think about giving back in the future.
There you go. That's what I want to share with you guys. Man, I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying here in terms of getting your dreams and goals and understanding what it takes to develop power. Okay? Power. The ability to do. That's all we need from you guys. Let's see. There's a comment from Mateus. Is it worth dating someone who needs their permission to go out? She's 24 and her mom is controlling. In 3 months, we only went out twice. Yeah. Well, thank you for the question. I appreciate that. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's okay. You guys can ask any questions. But Mateus, a question about a woman. It's never worth dating anyone if you don't understand female nature yet. Have you mastered the Woman of High Value channel? Have you had coaching? Okay? From one of the men of high value. Currently, it's just me who's coaching people in the network. If you don't have a lot of cash and you've received complete understanding of female nature and you've completely rejected monogamy, that's correct. Monogamy is a horrible structure because it doesn't align with female nature. Does that mean that you should sleep around? Hell no. That's the worst thing that you can do for women. Okay? But if you want women in your life eventually, okay, there's a system for that. It's called 3 in Love. Study the Women of High Value channel. Link down in the description. However, you have a girlfriend right now, what should you do? Move on. Voluntary celibacy immediately and do the 80-hour work week. Voluntary celibacy. I haven't mentioned that yet in today's episode, but I'm serious about it. Voluntary celibacy is one of the most amazing things that you can do for yourself these next 2 to 3 years. Okay? And once you understand 3 in Love, the Women of High Value channel, the network, and you've got tons of cash, you'll know exactly what to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.